Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for having me here. And I have to tell you that we are in the proposal writing stage. We're not yet started. I'm part of the team. There are about 4 different people from within India, and then let's just go to the next slide. Here, that's it.
So he can video tape here.
Oh. So I had attended another meeting in January. There is a similar initiative in the Hindu Kush Himalayan region. We can just quickly, if you just click on this, we can go to what came out there. So that meeting again, it was people from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, all with the Himalayan mountain ranges. So they have been working together for some time, and some of the outputs of the learnings from that were captured in here. Just go to the next slide. One of the important things that they mentioned was this curricula not being responsive to economic and social needs, I mean, aside from the other things. And they felt that the intermediate organizations were kind of weak, the research capacity was inadequate. Let's go to the next slide. Now, despite this, every university was willing to share, but they did not have mechanisms in place. And one of the ideas they came up with that exchange of faculty and students could be a way to achieve what they wanted to do. The multidisciplinary approach, which Grace also mentioned, was something that they were very sure about, that you have to have it that way, otherwise you cannot really address issues of code. This is a serious problem. Changing curriculum in almost all the universities is a serious issue. And everyone unanimously agreed that it's almost next to impossible. Can you go to the next slide? So again, kind of problems identified across various sectors. Again, one university cannot do all of this, they felt. And collaboration was always seen as a key to undertake research and one of the best ways. And I believe that is one important lesson, that the collaboration is what helps you build the network. So then we had the workshop in Sri Lanka, which was designed to generate the ideas for the South Asia proposal. And we had just last week a smaller group discussing what the next steps were and formulating parts of the research proposal. Next. So in Sri Lanka, there was a day after the main consultation where these ideas were brought forth. These were the knowledge areas that were identified through that workshop. The epistemology. This is always kind of fun because the IDRC officials thought this is too much, but it's come out quite well. Sectoral issues, which is to do with what we saw even in the Hindu Kush area. There were strategic and operational issues. The countries, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, or maybe Bhutan may come in later. Still under discussion. So with these thematic areas, we have to interact with the outer layer and ultimately reaching this layer. This is the conceptualization that took place there. Next slide, please. So our South Asia goals is primarily this: reorient institutes of higher education and research towards IIT. And we identified a set of indicators as well to do this. Seriously looking at enabling marginalized communities to participate in shape knowledge creation and innovation. So a lot of the thinking has been going into how do we get those things moving. So just to give you a quick understanding of how Indian universities have been growing from 1857 to now. You see a big jump in this past decade. Currently, something like I think 16 million in the number of students enrolled in higher education universities, higher education. But one of the things that keep coming up is that they get a degree, but they don't get a job. So there's some talk around how do you create educational interfaces that will create opportunities for employment. We're not talking about urban, we're talking about rural now. Children in rural areas are higher in number than children in the urban areas. Next slide. So there are some interesting kind of initiatives replacing the formal system. Some of these may be familiar to you, but it would take me more time to explain. But aside from what's listed here, there are older initiatives. Some of you may have heard of. Bankar Roy had his Barefoot College, where he was using village youth to build and install photovoltaics and renewable energy devices. There's an organization called Dan Foundation in Madurai. They have something called the Dan Academy. They again take in youth and train them in how to do social work, how to make changes within their own communities. There are lots of these informal, outside the formal university system kind of endeavors already taking place. Next slide, please. So, while we were at Colombo, these were the kind of tasks and goals we had set for ourselves. This part has been done. My little contribution was there because my experience has been in doing science and technology for rural development for the past 20-30 years. We are still looking at partners and country partners as well. I guess you keep telling us things like, Bhutan people are doing something great, there's something going on in Bangladesh, so we can't ignore them, we have to also bring them in. But every time we do that, it takes more time to finish the proposal. So we're hoping we'll do. So these are the quick things that happened. We had the 4 notes. 2 were done by the Indian partners and then 1 from Pakistan and 1 from Sri Lanka. We also had an internal circulation of the notes and comments passed on it. In Sri Lanka, the University Grants Commission, there's an NGO called Learn Asia, the National Science Foundation have been identified. They've come in very strongly saying they'll work with us, work in the South Asia group. We're still to hear from Pakistan actually. So this is a group that met on 28th March. Professor Dhruv Raina and Prajit Basu were the people, along with Raja Mondi, who described what they meant by epistemology and how we'll go about doing that. It was a little over most people's heads, but it was fun because they were able to explain it very nicely. So, I'm not sure if I want to read through this, but yeah. While we were there, these are some of the things that we discussed and they came up. We don't want to leave people out. The specific roles for the team was worked out. We had this other little bit of an issue that if we receive the money in India, we have great difficulty moving to Pakistan or to Bangladesh or to any other country. There are lots of regulations that govern movement of foreign exchange within India. In fact, we have to take permission from the government. There is an act of parliament on how you receive foreign contribution. You have to create a bank account separate, get permission from the ministry. And that takes sometimes 3 years to get. And only into that account can you move the money and you can't put it anywhere else. It's quite complex. So one of the things we were worrying about was when we have 3 countries involved, we may have to say, okay, Pakistan get this chunk, Sri Lanka get this chunk, and we take this chunk kind of thing in the beginning. Otherwise, it becomes, we might not be able to execute at all. yeah, so as I said, we're looking at Bhutan, Bangladesh, other countries as well. So yeah, next slide. April Fool. Yesterday, Shami should have sent that off. I'm hoping that's why he didn't come, because he had his work to do. So we're saying May 10th is when the decision happens in IDSC, but May 12th we should be able to submit. I think that should be the last slide. Thank you.
Thank you.